Audience, it is Fabulous Friday. Thank goodness, right? Right before the 4th of July.
Yes, it's an excellent day for a Friday.
Yeah, and it is nice and toasty over here. How toasty is it where you're at, David?
It's about 99.
Oh, well, we're real close to being close in temperature. I don't know exactly, but I think 96, 97. We're going to be right around there. And
Yeah, same here for the foreseeable future. So my dog, the one dog, Buddy, the new dog, the young dog, he never. Oh, it's exactly 100. It tells me right here at the airport, which is across the street.
okay, well, I'm not, we're 94, so I'm just a little cooler than you, not much.
But
It is
yesterday,
not winter, David.
yesterday it was 97, and I go outside, and Buddy, who is never fails to go outside unless he's forced to stay inside. When I go outside, declined to go outside yesterday. I looked back as I was opening the door, and he just laid there on the floor. He said, "Screw it, it's too hot out there."
Well, smart dog, smart dog. He says, no, I know what's out there.
Well, the other dog, the black dog, the lab Mariner, she'll lay out in the sun when it's 100 degrees.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
She loves
Now,
it.
our dog sunbathes too, but she's white, cream colored.
Right.
And she'll lay on the asphalt, on the driveway. And the other day, though, I did
Wow.
see her in the middle of the day on the grass. She got smarter, went on the grass and laying in the sun. But she just goes and lays out there in the shade too. Anyway,
Hey, everybody. Bobby, Lori,
hi.
Restream.io.
Well, listen, I wanted to talk about some things that you maybe haven't heard about in the news. Bring up. We talk a lot, cover a lot of issues, and PJ Media had some fabulous stories. And this one that I just posted in particularly, I think that has a lot of tidbits in it for people that are paying attention to what's going on. And this is relating to this is by Catherine Salgado, who really has written a really good article. It's called Climate Communism and CBDCs, the Worst of World Economic Forum 2023. And she says that it's clear that it was a festival of all the most woke and anti-freedom ideas from the globalist elite. It was held in China. And China is where they have, they can put the screws to the people. And they do put the screws
and
to
they
the
do
people.
put the screws to the people.
Right. And so this is, and in reading this article, it brings out that they are wanting to implement everything that what China is doing onto the rest of the world. And so I just think it's really good to be aware, share awareness, have people read this type of thing, and so they're looking at with, they were lifting up a fellow who is, you would think would be a really good guy in China, but he's actually a top official of the most murderous government in history. He doesn't care about the Uyghurs or religious or political dissent. He just wants to wipe them all out. Take a look at this article. It's really good. And then it covers also the central bank digital currencies. And they've laid out the plan for a digital ID tied to money. A China-like social credit score, right? Such as a digital ID would be required for activities including travel, owning and using electronic devices, shopping, social media, voting, healthcare treatment, and insurance. And let's see, did you call a biological man he instead of she on Twitter? Did you attend an event not approved by the government? No shopping or healthcare for you.
Yeah.
This is the type of stuff that It's not far-fetched. Unfortunately, sadly, this is where they want to take us all over the world, and we have to be aware of this and fight back against it and speak out against it.
Yeah. Well, lots of people say lots of things about money, but money is in fact freedom. If you have money in this country, you are free to do many things that you can't do if you don't have money. And I just today was payday, and I just did payroll, and I paid everybody in cash. I mean, took out the taxes and all that kind of stuff, but instead of writing them a check, we paid them all in cash today. And so, at the very least, my employees will be able to go spend money at the grocery store, regardless of what wrong think they are found to be guilty of.
Well, there's something to be said for that. And I'll tell you the reason, what my thought was, about this. And we talked about this on Wednesday on Captive Audience. Actually, we finished the show, Don and I did, regarding, the DMV hack.
Mm-hmm.
People's bank accounts have gotten hacked because of the DMV hack here in Oregon. So now and credit cards and PayPal through DMV, because sure, you pay something. So I know somebody who had, right before this hack, had written a couple of checks to DMV and the office in Pendleton. And when they process that, there's the routing number and your bank account number. And it went, my friend was online and watched her balance go to zero. And
Really?
she called her husband was going, honey, come here, you got to see this. And it was on the weekend, this past weekend, they saw that. And on Monday, they went to the bank. She had printed out what the screens showed, right? And everything was back in there. So this DMV hack is really serious, wide-reaching. So that's why, okay, you paid your people in cash. You know what? They don't have to worry about that type of hacking. Might be able to think you're stashing cash because of this type of thing, with the hacks that are happening, or here, to continue on this article, it says, if you thought getting canceled on Twitter for questioning COVID lockdowns was bad, wait until you can't get a life-saving surgery or buy a plane ticket because you question the government on Facebook.
Well, we've already seen some of that. We saw that with the COVID lockdowns. If you did not have a COVID shot or a COVID test, or really at the very beginning, it didn't matter what you had, you couldn't get surgeries. The hospitals were, shut down all of their stuff because they were expecting, truckloads of body bags to leave the hospital with this, pandemic that was coming from China, by the way. You talked about China. So, yeah, it's a bad deal. I'm a big fan of digital currency, but I'm a fan of digital, non-fungible digital currency that exists on distributed ledger, like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is non-fungible. There's only 21 million of them will ever be mined. There will never be any more mined. And they exist not in a central location, but on thousands and tens of thousands of computers scattered throughout the world. So, it has a lot of advantages that you can't get with the dollar or any other really kind of store of value. Gold, physical gold, is good, but it's heavy as hell. I mean, you can carry $1 billion on a thumb drive in Bitcoin, and $1 billion in gold will take a pretty good sized truck. So,
well,
but
yes, it would. And they're trying to attack the digital currencies, especially like Bitcoin, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yet that's the one that is surviving so far. I guess there's a few others. I'm not following the digital currencies, but
it's easy money.
Well, there you go.
Easiest money I've ever made.
Well, I remember when it went down too, David.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but if
You buy and hold and you don't go anywhere, you're going to make it back.
well, yeah, you sell it when it's high,
Yeah.
and then you wait for it to go down
Yeah.
again. But
Yeah.
a lot of people do, cycle trading like that. But Bitcoin is a store of value. I mean, a central bank digital currency is not a store of value. You can't store your money there because your money is subject to confiscation, much the same way as it's subject to confiscation if you keep it in a bank. I mean, I don't keep my money in a bank. I keep enough money in my checking account to pay, a couple months worth of bills, and other than that, I put my money in other places because we've seen it. We've already seen it. We've already seen it was it Greece in 2015, I think it was. They shut down the banks for a week, and then they readjusted everybody's accounts. They just scraped off a little bit off their, yeah,
Yep.
And the way that the Fed has been printing money, something to the tune of 7 to 10 trillion in just the last few years, a reckoning is coming. And so from the government standpoint, and from the government standpoint, I mean, the Fed is the government for the most part. From the government standpoint, a digital currency is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. You don't have to print money anymore. You can just add zeros, and there you go.
Yes,
But
you can also confiscate it, and you can
yeah,
control the people
yeah,
and everything they do. So speaking of controlling people, I'm going to post another article here that is out of New Zealand. I thought New Zealand, until we had COVID, I thought New Zealand was a really free society, and I was wrong. Because for COVID, New
oh
Zealand,
no,
New
they're
Zealand
horrible.
and Australia both locked down and really, really bad. Well, this story that I just posted is also out of PJ Media, and now New Zealand government is now rationing healthcare to non-Indigenous patients for racial equity.
Really?
Yeah, and yeah, really. They have instituted a trendy new social engineering project for equity that consists of denying healthcare to whites because of white supremacy. And Auckland surgeons are now required to consider a patient's ethnicity alongside other factors when deciding who should get an operation first.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to bring it up, because when I saw this, I went, wow. I have friends from New Zealand. I have friends in New Zealand. And this is just crazy. So they have the Health New Zealand, the Minister of Health in New Zealand has introduced an equity adjuster score, which aims to reduce inequity in the system by using an algorithm to prioritize patients according to clinical priority, time spent in the wait list, geographical location, ethnicity, and deprivation level.
Deprivation level.
Yes. And what's that? Is that the poorest? And in the ethnicity category are Maori, Pasifaka, and our top of the list. Those are the natives. And then there is, while European New Zealanders and other ethnicities like Indian and Chinese are lower ranked.
Wow.
So I was just blown away by this. And
That's woke gone crazy.
What that's why I led with the World Economic Forum, because this is the type of stuff that is getting implemented in nations, and we have to be aware of it. At the same time, thank goodness our Supreme Court is rolling back, making some great decisions. Like they just struck down the multi-billion-dollar student loan forgiveness plan, going, nope, you can't do that. Thank goodness, Biden, you don't have that authority. And then, of course, they have ruled in the web designer, and it's a free speech issue. And that one was a 6-3 decision that came out today. And it's under our Constitution's First Amendment right. So we have to keep our Constitution intact. We have to fight back and keep our Constitution intact to keep our freedoms in America, or we're going to end up like New Zealand.
Well, apparently the Supreme Court is working towards that, and I'm glad to hear that. Supreme Court is kind of the gift that keeps on giving. That's why it's very important to get probably the most important aspect of having decent people in the White House is getting a good Supreme Court. So,
yeah,
I think we're at 6-3 now, aren't we?
Yes.
We were at 5-4, now we're at 6-3. So, that bodes well for us as long as they continue to do, continue to look at things through the lens of Americans' founding documents. But, it's kind of weird. Sometimes I read parts of the opinions that are issued, and I think, I'm not sure how, sometimes I don't know how they arrive, at the decision. And I guess maybe it's because I'm not a constitutional scholar, but it just seems like it seems like to me, and maybe it's just because I'm naive, or maybe this is correct, it seems like there should be very little in between the Constitution and a Supreme Court opinion. But apparently there's all these other things.
Well, for decades, we've had the liberals controlling our Supreme Court that would not follow our Constitution. They called it a living document and needed to keep up with the times. But yet so right now I'm taking a Constitution class, and on every Monday night for the last, I have two more classes, and finding it fascinating. Then Don and I talked about this, on Friday or Wednesday as well, because everybody should be doing this. We have to learn more about our Constitution so that we know our rights. And the Federalist Papers are the whole discussions and the arguments of how they came up with our Constitution and our Bill of Rights.
Right.
So it's nice to have the courts, for a change, thank you, President Trump, to following our Constitution and going back to what the intent was, and undoing this, that the executive branch just gets to do whatever the hell they want.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's good. I think it was. I can't see how it was the wrong decision to tell the White House that they can't forgive $1 trillion or $1.5 trillion in student loan debt.
And then yesterday we had the other case that was
affirmative action in
yes, the affirmative action. But you know what, David? They left it that the military academies, it still applies. That makes no sense.
No,
it should be across the board. And we need to just get rid of affirmative action in hiring and every other area that it is. It needs to all be merit-based.
Oh, yeah. It's affirmative. There's nothing more racist than affirmative action. It's one of those things that was left over from the Great Society, Johnson's Great Society effort in the 70s. And, it's, I was having a discussion today about how back when racism apparently was running rampant in America, Black families did much better than they apparently do now in this post. Well, it seemed like that we were at a post-racial America up until Obama, and now we're back to being racist and white supremacists, Nazis and fascists, but they did well, and then the 70s came. They did well up until the 70s, and then all of these Great Society things that created a recipient class, a dependent class on government, and kind of doomed future generations to generational, at least the propensity for generational poverty. And it's been that way for 50 years.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. One of on the case of yesterday, Winsome Sears, who's the lieutenant governor from Virginia, I like her so much. She blasted Ketanji Brown Jackson's dissent and said she was chosen for the Supreme Court because she's Black and a woman. So it was actually, uh, that's why she was chosen, was affirmative action.
Right.
The person who couldn't even define a woman. Oh my
Right.
God. You know, it's just, anyway. So I really liked her. I liked what she said. I just posted that. That was also in PJ Media. PJ Media had a bunch of really good stuff today there that, we just have to, you keep hearing, be bold, speak up. We have,
Right. Yeah.
and we have to. And it's hard to sometimes come on here and regurgitate a bunch of local news.
Yeah, yeah. I hate giving them the oxygen. To be honest with you, I know. So PJ Media, we talked, I think, a bit about this on just briefly on Tuesday. PJ Media article on the Oregon Republican Party ruffled quite a few feathers within the Oregon Republican Party by, simply stating the facts of what's going on there, and it was kind of interesting to see some of the people within the party react much the same way that the left reacts when they don't like news. Uh,
Yeah,
it's too bad.
well, it is, and it ought to be much more transparent. In fact, I was reading a statement today and going, well, this all started back in November of 22. Wait a minute. You know what? I've attended several meetings, and it's never, ever been brought to the attention of the body, let alone the executive committee. There's something serious going wrong there, and they cannot continue to sweep this under the rug by any means.
No, no, and I wonder who's writing these things that are signed by someone that it appears didn't write them.
I don't know, but I don't think that's the author. But you know what? I don't know, and I don't know who the new communications director is.
Right.
There's, or anything like that. In fact, that rant by the former communications director was appalling. I think he had had too much to drink, maybe even some drugs. You don't do that kind of thing at 2:00 in the morning.
The supreme chair of the communications
Oh
department.
my word.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. It's not a good look for our party and what's going on, because, we've got a state to turn around. We've got a presidential election coming, and this does not give donors confidence.
No, it does not. It does not. When you have to burn up $5,100 of donors' money to pay fines that you shouldn't have incurred. I mean,
Never should have incurred, ever.
pretty easily avoidable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder who's. It doesn't seem like anybody's minding the store there. I mean,
Well,
I remember when I was part of the executive committee at the Oregon Republican Party for 7 years, I think, something like that. And we had meetings every single month, at least for the last 6 years that I was there. And we discussed everything at great length, every single meeting, every month. And there was nothing, there was very little that was falling through the cracks. And I mean, I'm not there, so I don't really know, but it just seems like nobody's watching the store or something. You probably have a better idea than I do.
Well, I'm not on the executive committee, and I am not, I don't know how often they've met. I've heard through the grapevine that they're not meeting monthly. In fact, that there's been very few meetings. One or two that I have attended have been actually pretty poor. So, in fact, I've only attended one with the current chairman. And so for the last three chairs, they were all awful. They weren't actually executive committee meetings by any means, not when you invite the entire body. You're trying to just get all the PCPs, and instead of going through the actual executive committee. And what bothers me about this current administration is I don't think that they respect the executive committee at all. And I think the executive committee ought to get a whole handle on what the hell's going on, because
Well,
they are the oversight of the officers running the party.
well,
And
yeah. I mean, the executive committee was intended to handle the affairs of the state central committee during its, in between meetings, which only occur 3 times a year, sometimes four. And so they should at
unless you
least.
keep having resignations and have to have elections like we've done, I mean,
Yeah,
5 meetings like in a year,
yeah,
or it's crazy.
yeah. It's been a revolving chair, and that doesn't put a lot of confidence in donors either. So
No.
having continuity of leadership is important. I remember kind of looking at the bylaws one time when we were talking about bylaws, thinking that there should be, much like the House and the Senate, there should be some overlap between people, so that there's some knowledge when new people come in. There's still knowledge there, so you don't get a whole raft of new people who may not understand how the organization works. I'm not saying everything that was always done is always the way you have to do it at all, but I mean, if I were to walk into a position that I was not familiar with the organization, I would sure want to have people around me who had been there a while and knew how to make things go. But doesn't seem to be
Yeah.
the case.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, so on a different subject, though, I want to bring this one up. Let me post it. Excuse me. From another story out of PJ Media today, and that has to do with COVID-19 and the vaccines. So-called vaccine, I'll put it that way. The shots. The shots. That's a shot.
The alleged vaccine.
And this has to do with, it's a bombshell study. Pfizer COVID-19 shots adverse effects differ from batch to batch.
Great.
And so it is a study that came out of a Danish researchers are reporting statistically significant variations in the rate of serious adverse effects between batches of the Pfizer vaccine. And that's how they came to this, because they were looking at the adverse reactions, the serious SAEs, serious adverse reactions. And so it's so much so that it was vaccination had been, it says by November 11th of 2022, 701 million doses had been administered and linked to nearly 1 million reports of suspected adverse effects in the European Union. And the vials, so there was never any studies done on different batches at all. And there was a paper put out that said, there might be possibility the batch is a little bit different than the other one, because we're having to do this on such a large scale, and it's under emergency use, so it's rapid implementation. So it might not be the same. Well, sure enough, these researchers has observed their rates huge difference. And the conclusion, the results suggested the existence of a batch-dependent safety signal for the vaccine, and more studies are warranted to explore the preliminary observation and its consequences. So, and we're going to be hearing new things over the course of the next decades about this, I think. As more and more is learned, and
who knows how long
people are bringing the truth out as to what's what's happening because of all of the suppression, which of course there's still areas, and maybe because we talked about that, this might get shut down. I don't know, but we're not going to worry about being censored. It'll happen if it does, and hopefully it doesn't. But,
Well, I'm a white supremacist, racist denier, so I don't have to worry about the effects of the clot shot.
Actually, I've heard that the Red Cross is actually looking for people that haven't been vaccinated.
Really? I wonder why.
I wonder why, right? Yeah. And, and it's, if you're going to have a procedure, you better take a look at some of those serious things.
Yeah. My new pronoun is no.
Okay, Dave, I've got to know, you live in Hubbard, right?
I don't live there anymore.
Oh,
I lived there for 50 years.
Okay, because you know what? President Trump won the Hubbard, Oregon Fire District election as a write-in candidate.
Yeah.
So when I saw this, I thought, I wonder if David Darnell had something to do with this.
I got several messages like that as soon as the article appeared. But no,
well, it's on national news now.
It wasn't me.
I want you to know it's on national news now. And when I saw it, we didn't discuss it on Wednesday, but I had seen it. And, it's, yeah. Well, I tell you what, good on him.
I thought today, well, how it went down is apparently there was no one filed to run in that race, which is how I recently was elected to the fire board, the Illinois Valley Fire Board. You don't know where the Illinois Valley is. It's southwest of Grants Pass. Because another PCP in town called, she called Karen and said, hey, there's nobody's filed for this. Tell David to go file for it. So I did, and I won. Yeah, I did pretty well, actually, since I was the only person on the ballot. But you know what I thought about? So what happened is it was an open spot, and so there was write-ins. Fortunately, people didn't write my name in. I wouldn't have been eligible anyhow because I'm not registered there. But so people wrote name-ins, and apparently there was a tie. I don't know if you read the article, but there was a tie, and so
yes,
the law requires that a game of chance be employed to break a tie, and so it was a roll of the dice, and
a 12-sided die, multiple times.
Yeah, and Trump won, so he's unfortunately he's disqualified because he doesn't live in the district, but he could move here. I could rent him my house up there if he'd like, and he could sit on the fire board in Hubbard, Oregon.
Yeah. So I think that is so great. I'm telling you, especially being a tie, right? This is good. So it'll go to the second person who got it, and I think that's wonderful. I do.
Yeah, but you know what I thought about today, and if you're not a Republican operative like we are, you probably wouldn't think this way, but I was thinking I need to get a hold of Joel and find out who the hell the PCPs are in 535. That's my old precinct, because they're not doing their jobs. There should have been a candidate. There should have been a candidate in there.
Right.
Yeah.
There should have been. You're absolutely right. I'll tell you, it's amazing how so many people say, I want to get involved. What can I do to help? But they won't file.
Well, you're on a planning commission or something, aren't you?
I am.
Planning
I'm on our county planning, and I've been on our city budget committee before.
Yeah.
I'm I'm doing stuff. I go to city council meetings, and yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, it's a great way to serve your community. There's dang it, I don't have the numbers. I thought I committed the numbers to memory, but there's something like 400 special districts, and a special district is a district outside of a county or a city. School boards are often special districts. Fire boards are special districts. Water boards are often special districts. So there's 400 plus special districts in the state of Oregon. And the thing about a special district, I was, learning about the one that I am now a director of, is that in 1954 it was established by a vote of the people. So the people got together and decided that they would vote for this it's a special taxing district, and they would pay taxes to have fire protection. And so they weren't forced,
Right.
except for the people that, voted against it and didn't want to pay for the fire protection. I mean, that's kind of how the Democratic part of our Republican form of government works. So since 1954, there's been this special district in which people are taxed. I live in the district, so I figured out how much money I'm paying in taxes to this district, and it's like a lot. I didn't realize it, but I took went and got all the tax information on the various properties and realized that I'm paying 5 digits a year, and this thing is like, whoa. Whoa, I better make sure we're getting our money's worth. But the cool part about a special district is most special districts, I guess I'm just reading, the manual for mine, but the people that pay the taxes are the customer. That's the mission. The mission
That's
is
right. That's the mission.
The mission for the special district is to provide the best possible service at the best price to the people that are paying for it. And I'm glad to be a part of that. I mean, I don't want to have to fight my own fire. And down here, I mean, it's a fire can be a catastrophic event down here, and in many other places in Oregon, as we saw in 2020, September 2020. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a great way to be part of your local government.
Well, it is. And like I was talking with my central committee, before the special election was, every single one of these districts have a budget. They
Yeah.
all have a budget. It's our tax money. And,
Yeah.
and we need to have smart conservative people in there. And like you say, representing the customers. For whatever the district is, be it a water district, a fire district, a school district, they all have budgets. And it is a great way of being involved. It's also a good way to learn and start getting involved and learning what it is to working together like that in a district, and how, learning the ropes if you've never been. So
Right.
Pat says the video's tweaking. I don't know. I haven't seen any tweaking on my end. So, hey, I got this. There is a film. There's the Jason Williams. A lot of people he wrote in Oregon Catalyst a story, and he says, film boycott is working. Behold the empty theater. And that is regarding Disney's blockbusters. They're tanking. Keep up the good work. But at the same time, go and watch The Sound of Freedom. And that is coming this weekend. And it is about child trafficking. And I think it's something that we all can. I've just posted a link to angels.com. And it is, I haven't seen the trailer, but I have seen a lot of commercials on social media ads for it. And so I've watched a little bit. Mel Gibson was on there saying this is something to, you need to see. And it's been well done, not going to be super graphic or gross you out from what I've read. And I think we need to support those kinds of movies that are educating the populace of what's going on, because this is here. And so
Well,
so
I heard that Harrison Ford drinks Bud Light.
I don't know about that. I don't even know who plays in the movie. Harrison Ford?
Well, Harrison Ford is playing in what I would assume is the most likely for the few receipts that it's getting already. The last Indiana
Oh yeah, the
Jones.
Indiana Jones. Oh yeah.
That's
You
that's
know,
the big $400 million movie that's breaking out this weekend
yeah.
from Disney. Disney bought that franchise, and apparently they've woke it up quite a bit. Put some woke here and put some woke there, and so I hear lots of calls to boycott it. I don't even know where the nearest theater is to me, so I probably won't be going to see it. But $400 million is a piss load of money for a movie.
Yeah,
And
it
if
is.
it doesn't do well, if it only brings in 50, 75, $100 million, that's a big hit, even for a company the size of Disney. So
Yeah.
that's why
So
I thought I'd throw my little dig in there and say that Harrison Ford drinks Bud
there
Light. He
you
drinks
go. There you
he drinks
go.
Bud Light while he's flying in his airplane. If you don't know Harrison Ford, he's crashed his airplane a couple of times.
I didn't know that. So
Yeah,
hey, on Angel
airplane
Studios,
crasher.
on the link that I put, you can put the zip code of where you live and find out where it's playing. And actually, I bought 4 tickets today. It's going to be playing over in Walla Walla. And I bought 4 tickets. There's 4 of us that are going to go see it.
Really?
And you'll be able, because I thought, well, where's it playing in my area? I know it's playing in Hermiston and it's playing in Walla Walla. So
So
I thought, well,
this last link that you posted, you can
yep,
click there and find out where it
yep,
is.
yep.
Huh.
And you just put in your zip code and it'll show you where it's playing near you. And get your tickets because it's selling out. And that is wonderful. People are on our side are
I suppose
hungry for something to
I
see.
suppose I suppose you're getting spit on outside waiting to get in the theater and in the metro area.
Well, I hope not. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. So,
I wouldn't put that past them. I remember the last time I went to an event in downtown Salem, I was yelled at and spit on and all kinds of stuff.
yeah, it can happen. Walla Walla, you've got 3 liberal universities over there. So it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to a matinee too. You get the matinee and the senior discount. What the heck? Okay. So
You're not old enough to get a senior discount, are you?
I am.
No
I,
way.
I am. Yes, way. Thank you very much. We're about the same age there, David.
Are we? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were a lot younger.
No.
I know that I'm old and I can get a senior discount.
Yeah, I get the senior
I
discount.
refuse to take the senior discount though because I won't acknowledge that I'm old enough to get a senior discount.
Oh, I'll take the senior discount. I like saving money, and you know what? This will be the first movie I've gone to see in a long, 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 long time.
Pat Finley, that's a great idea. Bear spray. I never thought of that. Bear spray would be a great way to deal with those people that yell and scream at you outside. Just as you're walking by into your event, just douse them all with bear spray.
Yeah, or pepper spray. I carry one of those in my car all the time.
Yeah. Might have to get some of that.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about it down here. I mean, there's nothing going on down here. I've already told the story about the BLM protest that started in our little town, and the sheriff got there just in time before they all got their asses kicked.
Yeah, and that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah. So, hey, everybody, have a great 4th of July. Now, somebody had asked in the very beginning of our show, are you and Kevin doing a show on Tuesday, the 4th of July?
I don't know. We haven't decided yet. If I do the show, I'm reading the Declaration of Independence. See, I can get the senior discount. I can't speak any longer.
Okay, well, so we don't know if it's going to be there, if captive audience will be back on Tuesday, but it will be on Monday. So come on back. And I just wish everybody to have a fabulous 4th of July. It's our nation's birthday, and have fun. Be with people you like and love, and
read the Declaration of Independence.
read the Declaration of Independence. Absolutely.
It'll blow you away how many of those things, the long list of grievances, are very applicable to today.
No kidding. No kidding. And yeah, Pat, it's going to be hot. Hot is right. So happy 4th, everybody. And share the message. Thanks for coming on, and we'll see you next week. Night.
Good night.